Iceland's experiment of a four-day work week was, quote, an overwhelming success, according to researchers. Between 2015 and 2019, workers were paid the same amount and worked shorter hours. Researchers found productivity remained the same or improved in a majority of workplaces.
The findings come as several other countries are partaking in similar experiments, like Spain and New Zealand. I am, for one, shocked that people liked working less and getting paid
I am, for one, shocked that Ryan is finding a lot of truth in a parallel between the United States and a tiny homogenous socialist democracy.
There you go.
No, I mean, this is... So I would not dismiss this outright, even though I do generally dislike these comparisons with some of the Scandinavian countries. But I actually think in 2021, the work week should reflect the fact that work looks incredibly different than when we developed the 5-day work week. Work is, I mean, a lot of people are doing gig work. A lot of people, our norms around work are shifting, and this is one of them that logically, it's not crazy to think should shift right along with that.
Right. And Japan has been experimenting with this as well, so it's not just Europe, although Japan is also largely homogenous.
Right.
What the U.S. is experimenting with is a 7-day work week.
Yeah.
And I think the results are in. People don't like it. Mm-hmm. And you're right that the nature of work and gig work in our economy, the way that we treat workers is kind of in an entropathic kind of way, pushing it to every waking moment of the day, with like sleep being the last thing that capital has yet to figure out how to kind of invade and occupy. But the point about productivity is key, and we've known this for a very long time when we compare the United States to European productivity rates. That in countries like France or Germany, where they work 30 hours a week or so, they wind up being just as productive as the U.S., which is working 40, where workers are working 40 plus, and it's intuitive. You know, if you know that you have to get your work done by 3, you get your work done by 3, so you can go home. If you know you have until 5, what's the point of getting your work done by 3? So you can just get yelled at for goofing off. And you know, I think the listening hours to programs like this one, programs like Joe Rogan, like it's clear that people are spending a lot of time at work, not doing work. And we do not at all condemn that. And if you're watching this at work, we hope that you're ready to move your screen when your boss comes by. Although if you're working from home, then your boss is not going to walk behind you. So if you insist that people put in a certain amount of time, they're going to fill that time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there's good reason not to just sort of sit back and Scrooge McDuck this and be like, what a ridiculous proposal. People need to work harder, because it's in the post-COVID, especially, as the nature of work itself and white-collar work even has shifted to the point where people are doing a lot of work from home. It's a completely different job when you're sort of talking to colleagues, having meetings, doing X, Y, and Z, as opposed to if you're now working many days from home, you don't have those sort of social aspects of the job, you're just working. And so to conceive of ways that our work culture might shift to sort of meet those changes, technological changes, all of these things, I think it makes sense. This might not be perfectly the solution for every single job, but it clearly is something that certain employers, I mean, we all work in very different ways now, and that's changing every single month. These jobs are changing dramatically, they're changing quickly, and it's not even, not that it ever was even, but it's more uneven now than ever before. So the idea that a 4-day work week would suit some jobs as a norm is, of course, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. According to Axios, as Ryan mentioned, Microsoft's Japan offices reported a 40% spike in productivity during a trial where employees had Friday off. In the US, there are 4.5 times as many ZipRecruiter job postings mentioning 4-day work now than there were in 2016, according to Bloomberg. And that gets to something we haven't talked about, which is the distinction between like a federally mandated 4-day work week and businesses just shifting to a 4-day work week on their own. If these studies on productivity continue to show that, I wouldn't be shocked at all if this is a norm that we continue to see, because especially people, people now love to travel, right? And when you can do your work remotely, Having that 4-day work week is another thing. The people who are relying on gig work, that's going to be the real challenge, as you say, when you have the 7-day work week already, because you're driving Uber when you can, you're doing deliveries when you can, you're doing thumbtacks when you can. That's where the privilege of a 4-day work week, handed down by your corporation, doesn't come into play.
Right. People will wind up having 2 4-day work weeks.
Yes.
And cramming them in together. On the other hand, there are real climate implications here too. Like if the less that people are in the office and working, the smaller the carbon emissions are. Like that's an outgrowth of this. And if we're going to get serious about reducing carbon emissions and creating a better world, what better way than relaxing a little bit?
I also disagree that they haven't found a way to monetize our sleep, because I guarantee you they're selling the data from the sleep trackers and the Apple Watches.
They're trying hard, but compared to the amount of time people spend on it, they're not pulling as much out of it as they would like.
They're going to figure it out, though.
We'll see.
I have the utmost confidence. Well, we will be back with more Rising right after this.